Hi, welcome. We have talked a lot about loss. If you've been here for a minute, you know that. And we've talked about um, a lot of the things and components to moving forward, walking forward, and um, a little bit about um, rebuilding our lives after grief, after loss. But one thing that has really been on my mind, it's been in some ways, some things have come very easy, and some have been a huge stumbling block for me. And I think hearing other stories, I think it can be a huge stumbling block to moving forward. And that is change. And so I wanted to talk about that today because change is something that's, I think, can be very hard for any of us in any season of life, but particularly when you are walking through um, a season of loss and grief, um, because you've just had this huge change already imposed upon you that you've had no control over. Your life has changed in the blink of an eye. And so, any of the changes that we feel like maybe we have control over, it can be a sticky wicket to actually start implementing those. So let's talk about that today. Um, my name is Patty. If you're brand new here, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I'm so glad you're here. Um, yeah, change. It's, certain areas in my life, my whole life, certain things, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. But then there's those certain areas that are like, no, 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 we're not going to touch that. We're just going to leave that right how it is. So I think, to some degree, many, many, many of us can struggle with change. But I think, because I've thought a lot about this, and I think for me, one of the things that I feel like I am struggling with changing, um, I feel like I'm erasing him. Like if I get rid of that, I change that, it doesn't look this way anymore. It's just one more thing that his mark is not here anymore. And I think that's a natural feeling because we didn't choose to have this big change happen of them being gone. And so for us to choose to say, you know what, I'm going to let that go, um, it can feel like a betrayal, like we're choosing to erase them. And I mean, we're not. We're not. That's the last thing I want to do. And I think that's why I struggle with it, is because I don't want to. I don't want to do anything. And, there's lyrics in a song that say, yesterday is a closing door. You don't live here anymore. And, I've heard um, grief counselors say um, that that life that life is over. That's done. That's yesterday. And it sounds kind of harsh, and I think it's kind of to get your attention. Um, but we do know that things are never going to be the way they were, and change is happening. Our life has changed 100% overnight. And so we've talked a lot about not staying stuck, not staying sitting. But I think when you're trying to take those steps forward, these are the things that can trip you up, is the change. And I've come to the conclusion it's not an all or nothing proposition, right? I have some things that at this point in my life, I have no intention of changing. I've said before, his toothbrush is in the cup next to mine, where it's always been. And I, I have complete, as of now, I feel good about that. There's something about the continuity of that it doesn't upset me to see it there. Um, and I think that can be one of our markers. Is it bringing us comfort? Is it not hindering us from taking steps forward? And for me, that's one that I don't feel like it is. And at any point in time, I can choose to say, you know what, I'm ready to have just my toothbrush standing alone. Um, but there's other things that they're not even critical, major things, but um, I have a I have a quote that I wrote on my fridge in it's like a crayon type thing, and I wrote it on there for him about 5 months before he died. And it's not that it's a bad quote, but like it's taken up a big space. And I keep thinking there's probably something I should write up there that's different now and that speaks more to me. Um, but every time I go to erase that, I get stuck and I feel like I'm erasing him. That that doesn't matter. And because I put that up there for him, I should be trying to draw from that. And so I do this little dance round and around and around. And again, it's not a life changing thing, but is it? Because every time I look at that and every time I think about doing it, I get drawn into that circle, into that loop, and that's keeping me stuck. Whereas having something new up there that's going to inspire me, that's going to challenge me, um, that's really, I mean, I've been around this loop enough times now that I'm really at that place where I'm recognizing, okay, as much as that doesn't seem like a big deal, it's it is drawing me into this loop of stuck, being stuck. And so I think that can be one of our markers, is if um, if changes, and I'm just using a couple of very simple examples because in all reality, like there's a lot bigger changes, right? I mean, when we lose our life partner, sometimes that means we have to change where we live. It means maybe we need to change vehicles because that one doesn't suit us. Maybe um, we need to downsize, or maybe we need to change jobs, or I mean, there's big stuff that are hard changes. So, but I think sometimes those are the things that are big, right? And we have to deal with those. Um, and they're hard, and we have to walk through them, and we have to make the choices that we need to make. Um, but I think it's a lot of the little things that can keep us spinning our wheels and not really moving forward. The goal is not ever to erase them from our lives. I would never, ever, ever want to erase him from my life. I want to take him forward with me. And I think, I believe that does not require leaving their complete imprint on our surroundings, right? I have photos. I have photos scattered around. I have probably more photos out now than I did a year ago. Um, those are great. They remind me of happy memories. They comfort me. Sometimes they make me cry, but they remind me of what we've had and what I want to share and what I want to take forward. Um, and I have some articles of his clothing. I have a big uh, flannel shirt of his that I just feel wrapped up and close to him when I wear that. Um, I don't sit in it 24 hours a day crying my eyes out, um, but I have sat in it and cried. But sometimes I just wear it because I feel like it's a part of him with me. I have some of his hats. And so I think, and I'm just using my examples. I think we each have to evaluate those items, those little changes, those his boots sitting by the back door. Um, is that helping you, or is that hindering you? And none of these are set in stone. Maybe it's helping you now. Or maybe you don't realize it's hurting you yet. Maybe 6 months down the road, you're going to realize, wow, this thing, just like my quote on the fridge, maybe you're going to realize, oh, this thing is tripping me up. It's keeping me stuck. And every time I look at it, I go into this thought pattern it's not carrying me forward. It's sending me in this spiral of guilt. And so I think we have to evaluate those things for ourselves. But I think being aware, I heard one lady talk about, you know, what was it? It was some Metamucil container, I think. And uh, her husband, it annoyed her. He always left it sitting out on the counter, and it annoyed her. And, she picked it up. She's like, well, at least I can get rid of this now, and hucked it into the trash. And, I've done that with a couple things. And then I turn around and I feel guilty. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't throw it away. Because I feel guilty that I was annoyed by it, and I shouldn't have been annoyed at him. Um, and so it's a process. It's a process. So none of this is any kind of judgment on any of us because this is like, it is a grief is, it's like riding a crazy wave, right? It's up and down. It's up and down, or roller coaster maybe is a better analogy. I know we talk a lot about the waves and the waves crashing over us, but it really is. It's like sometimes you're in a spot and you're feeling great about things, and then the next minute you're um my hope, my goal is just to share what I'm walking through, the challenges I'm facing, um, just evaluating, always evaluating um, the things that I'm resisting changing that are keeping me stuck. And maybe it's not even tangible things like that. Maybe it's, um, I don't know. Here's an example. I know I was joking with my daughter. I don't think most people even know what checks are anymore because most people just don't use them. But we've always kept some checks. There's a couple things that we write checks for every month. And I have put off and put off and put off and put off ordering new checks because that's erasing him. I mean, I made the changes on the account. I notified the bank that he had died. He's not listed on the account anymore, but I still had checks with his name on it alongside mine. And to take that next step and order new checks and toss the old checks and know that I now have checks with just my name, that was a hard thing to do because in my mind, it's just one more acknowledgement that he's gone. But for me, I finally did it when I was ready. And while it still makes me sad that his name, he's not a part of my financial picture anymore. But something about seeing those checks with just my name was a reminder that I am standing on my own 2 feet now. And I guess I would compare it to feeling like you have a nameplate on your desk, right? It's like it gave me a little boost of confidence. It's something official that says you are standing on your own 2 feet now. And so it was a step that I had a hard time making. It was a change I did not want to make. But in the end, I know it was a step forward. Me putting that off and not doing that was holding me back from that feeling of feeling a little more confident, that I'm on my own 2 feet and I can do this. So that's just another example. Everyone's situation is so different, but yet we're all walking through. We're all walking through, and I just want to encourage you to this week, give that some thought. The things that you are resisting changing. This is not, uh, again, we are on no timeline. We are on nobody's schedule but our own. But because we're on our own schedule, we kind of have to hold ourselves accountable. If we want to move forward, if we want to feel better, we have to keep taking steps forward. And so evaluating the things that are calling to you or you're noticing and, you know, evaluating, do I need to change this? Am I ready to change this? Is this holding me back? Is this keeping me stuck? Every time I, you know, think about doing this, it sends me into a spiral. One of the things that you can do for a lot of your changes is sometimes there's ways to do it that it's not permanent, right? You can do it on a trial basis. You can, if you're feeling like, you know what, I need to move these things. I don't think they're helping me. You don't have to just throw them out, right? Put them in a box and put them in the spare room, or put them in the garage, or put them out in your car. They're still retrievable. I've talked about that. I fairly early on went through and culled, and I did it in a very respectful. I went through my husband's things, the things that doesn't do me any good. He had brand new socks and underwear, barely used. And what am I going to do with those, right? Washed them all, and went through. He had some jeans, and you know and I packed all that stuff up, and I prayed over it for who it goes to, and I got it all loaded into my car, and then I started second guessing myself. So it's at my car. But there's ways you can do it so you don't have to just dive off of a cliff. Try out the change, right? If there's a picture that's causing you more pain, take it down, put something else in its place, and but just set it aside. You don't have to throw it away. Um, if if you need to change out your bedding on your bed, if having all the same bedding is causing you sleeplessness and causing you grief, because he's not there, maybe you need to change out all your bedding and do something new. But you know what? You can fold all that and put it in the other room. And if you find out that, you know what, no, I think that I feel better when it's there. So change doesn't have to be an all or nothing proposition. Think about if you're just not sure, but you're feeling like maybe I need to change this. I think for me, I think I'm going to take a photo of the fridge, and then I'm going to clean it off, and I'm going to think about what I need to put up there. I think that is going to be, I think that's going to be my next step of change. Little thing, but little things sometimes are the big things. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today. I hope that this has been helpful. Maybe it's caused you to think about something that you haven't. or maybe think about it in a new way. I'm so grateful to have you along for this journey. And I would be really curious what you might be going to tackle this week. I've shared what I'm going to tackle. I would be really curious what you're going to try to tackle this week. And I will be in the comments ready to chat with you. I'd love to talk to you. And beyond that, I will see you in the next video. Have a beautiful tomorrow, my friend, because we're going to do this one day at a time.